Hi, everyone. So, day 14, you've made it through 2 weeks. Thank you. I am indeed grateful that you've made it this far, and we only have 1 week to go. And then, of course, we just have to change the world. No big deal, right? Today's mantra is beauty. And I want to start with a quote from Buckminster Fuller. So, he has famously said, that when I'm working on a problem, I never think about beauty. I think only of how to solve the problem. But when I have finished, if the solution is not beautiful, I know it is wrong. So I want us to understand that beauty is part of the sacred geometry of nature. And when things, look, when you're healthier, when you're happier, you're naturally, and I always used to say that the best facelift is a smile. Now, look, I'm sorry if, I don't look younger than I am because I haven't done any fillers or anything like that. I'm 61, but I feel really healthy and I feel really happy. And that makes me feel really good about myself, right? So understand that you can feel beautiful if you feel beautiful in your skin, your definition of it. Like I am happier today doing what I do, leaning into the causes that I believe in, not getting Botox and all those fillers and such than I would be if I had done the opposite. I had other opportunities. And certainly, if I wanted to be on air more, then especially as an anchor or something, I'd have to do a lot about all the cosmetic stuff that they do. I'm not wanting to focus as much on the cosmetic. I'm wanting to really drill into how all of this kind of plays together. The idea of a strong vision, of putting your heart into it, and then that creates things that are beautiful. That this is not an accident that the West Village is, so lively and vibrant and full of artists and diversity and all the things that are there, instead of having a giant freeway and no Soho. It's not an accident that Poundbury is designed for, walking and biking, as is Nansleden. It's not an accident, it's by design, right? It's not an accident that the Damersfirst school children, get to eat fresh produce that they grow in their own garden and they grow in season, and that they know where their food comes from. And they even have their own composter, and now they have their own pond. So all of their recycling efforts, there was one of the schools down in Las Vegas, and they had so much, fruit and veg from their gardens. They're like, well, what do we do with all this? And they decided to have a farmer's market, and they make about $3,000 a year now that can go for other fun things. So it's a beautiful, virtuous cycle when we lean into our passions, not passions that are, fleeting, like greed or, drinking, that sort of thing. But the ones that we're really talking about here, that with regard to healing our planet, living a sustainable life, empowering people, leaning into the power of yes, all of these things do indeed lead us up the path to both wisdom and happiness. So let me show you a few other things that we can get inspired by. I wanted to show you one other thing, and I think it's a documentary worth watching. It's called Spaceship Earth. And this is about the Biosphere 2. And you can actually visit Biosphere 2. It's kind of close to Tucson. It's run by the University of Arizona. It has, it's research. It's the world's largest scientific research project. It has an ocean and coral reefs, and they're studying how to regenerate coral reefs there. Has a rainforest, has a desert, a savanna, mangroves. And what's even more interesting about this is that 8 biospherians lived inside the Biosphere 2 for 2 years. So they had to manage their own water, their own waste, and they had to make sure that they were not emitting too much CO2. Now, you will learn more about all of this in that Spaceship Earth documentary, should you so choose to. if you want to go visit Biosphere 2, then you'll learn a lot more about it there too. But I think that it becomes more profound when we know that 8 individuals lived there. They made, they had to cultivate they had to farm animals. And by the way, that means you have to deal with the waste too, not only your own wastewater, but the farm animals. And they also had to farm their own food and make their own banana wine. So I think it's worth it to look at that documentary. And again, also to think about that, because they wanted to see what would happen in a closed environment like that. It's kind of like a Noah's Ark experiment. And again, it started in 1991. Also, you can look up John Polk Allen. He's got his own wiki page, and he's also known as Johnny Dolphin. And he put together a community that did miraculous things. I mean, it's just amazing what they were able to do. From Heraclitus that they built themselves and sailed around the globe, to all of the projects that they have done around the globe as well. Most of them with regard to sustainability. So I do encourage you to check out that. I want to give you a little bit more to be inspired by as well. So the Greenbelt Movement is got a lot to do with beauty as well. So the vision of Wangari Maathai was that, there were women in her villages in Kenya that were having to walk all day to find water, to schlep it back and for their children, or walk all day for food. And she said, look, this is all as a result of industrial farming. And her first reaction from the community was, well, we're too poor, we can't solve our problems. And so she had to start a campaign that said, hey, we can solve our own problems. And it starts with rejuvenating the soil and planting trees, getting shade, the watershed, that the trees are going to attract water. They're going to be able to help sequester it into the soil and into the land. All of this is going to mean that instead of walking all day for water, that we'll be able to cultivate our own Eden right here. So she created beauty. And the way that she had to do it was really smashing paradigms and ethos that other people were richer and had more resources and could do it for you, and instead saying, no, in fact, that other people idea was what destroyed our land with industrialized farming, and we have to bring it back with trees and carbon sequestration and rejuvenating the soil. And I do encourage you to read, at minimum, her Nobel Peace Prize winning speech, which is powerful. And, one of the most powerful things that she said was that, it's almost like what John F. Kennedy said was, don't ask what others should be doing for us, but ask what we're doing, right? What are we, and it's powerful. Like when we think about beauty and healing our planet, it's a pretty amazing planet. Like if you're looking at it from outer space, or if you're skiing, or anything that you love doing outside, it's pretty amazing, all the wonderful things there are to witness, right? And, when you look at it from that perspective, and how can we be more in harmony with nature, in partnership with nature, in healing the things where we've destroyed nature, this is all about recovering the beauty that was there that became ugliness because we were too reliant on fossil fuels, or we were too reliant on petrochemicals or pesticides, which are poison. So all of these things that we're already challenging ourselves to do is about, of course, creating a healthy environment for our children and grandchildren. And actually, it's not even pushed out that far. It's for us too. But it's also about creating beauty, because when things are beautiful, they are more in harmony. It is, you can feel it in your own self. Like I walk an hour every day and I figure out my errands in order to be able to do that, right? I feel healthier as a result. Yes, it requires planning, but if I say I should be exercising, at least this is according to my doctor, everybody should be exercising 2 hours a day, according to him. So rather than drive a car to a yoga class, Why not walk to the yoga class, or walk to the yoga class and on the way back hit up the grocery store for that, for the produce you need for the next few days. So when we think about beauty and creating beauty, the things that are healthy for the planet, the things that are healthy for us, create beauty. The things that are not healthy for us, the things that are not healthy for the planet, are ugly. Like if you go and look at the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico, if you actually went and remember the images of the oil spill in 2010, there've been others since then. Think about the problems that occurred in Fukushima when the tsunami had the nuclear meltdown. There's still millions of gallons of radioactive water that they're going to start releasing back into the ocean. It's not really beautiful, right? So we have to think about things that are in greater harmony, because they will create a beautiful planet, and they're better for us. It's not beautiful to have a child who, develops an illness because there's too much petrochemicals in the soil or pesticides in the soil from monoculture farming. So let's create some beauty. And your task this week is to do something for yourself that is healthful, that creates beauty for yourself. And I don't mean like a facial or liposuction. I mean like a walk. It's something outside. Like, don't just do a spinning class, or even yoga outside would be fine, but try to do something outside that's going to create health. So that means probably exercising. And also notice Mother Nature and the beauty of Mother Nature. So notice beauty and create beauty. And I'll see you tomorrow, where we start attracting others to build upon our momentum. We've now started to transform ourselves, and we are feeling more comfortable with it after 2 full weeks of leaning into the power of our mindset to green our lives and reduce our own carbon footprint by 30% this year. And starting tomorrow, we're going to start thinking about engaging the community. So we're going to have a party with people that are like-minded. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.